Hello everybody and welcome to my series of micro lessons. These short lessons will focus on common errors that are often made when writing a literature essay and will give you advice and guidance on how to fix them. Today we'll be looking at how to link and develop your ideas when writing a literature essay and also how to make a clear transition between different points.
Okay, so let's have a look at the problem. Your response seems a little bit like a list of ideas, just placing them one after the other, rather than it being a cohesive piece of writing that you're putting together for the same purpose. Your sentence openings can seem simplistic or repetitive, and it's not clear how your ideas either build upon each other or how they're linked. So really you could split them up and put them anywhere and it wouldn't really make a difference. It should be clear how they're tied together. So what is the solution? Use connectors to link ideas. That's a really good place to start. There are lots of different types of connectors depending on what it is that you want to do. If you're adding, developing or showing a contrast. This also gives your writing a sense of cohesion. It's almost like the glue that holds everything together. Repeat your own keywords and your ideas as a way of making a clear transition from one idea or one sentence into the next. So you're pulling a keyword or idea from the previous sentence or the previous idea and you're repeating it to show how it continues or how it develops. So let's have a look at an example. So this is taken from a literature essay on Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. In Act 3, Scene 5, we see a change in Lord Capulet's attitudes towards his daughter. He is now cruel and aggressive. When he learns that Juliet will not marry Paris, his anger is presented through his threatening language as he describes how he will drag Juliet on a hurdle. The word drag exemplifies the extent of his rage at her disobedience. This is a harsh and monosyllabic word which acts as a reminder to his daughter of his power as the patriarch. Then he says, "Hang thee, young baggage." This seems extreme and heartless, as Capulet would rather see Juliet dead than listen to her. Then he insults her by calling her baggage. The metaphor baggage effectively demonstrates his lowly view of her, as he removes her status as both a person and his daughter. She is now nothing more than a burden and a disappointment. Now this is a pretty good example in terms of a clear point, relevant use of a range of quotations that are introduced and embedded, and we do have analysis and inference, and everything is linked back to Capulet and how Capulet is presented as a father. But it could increase its sophistication. The links could be a little bit more obvious, and we could show how one idea links into the next and how we are clearly building and developing a response. So we have lots of repetitions of the word, the metaphor, then. Could be a little bit better, a bit more sophisticated. So let's see how we can improve it. In Act 3, Scene 5, we see a change in Lord Capulet's attitude towards his daughter. In contrast to his protective and caring demeanour in Act 1, we now see him becoming cruel and aggressive. So by linking back to a previous part of the play, we're showing our knowledge of Capulet, but we're also giving ourselves some keywords here that we may want to use later on. So this is not only relevant to the point that we're making, but it does show that we're building upon past knowledge and we're showing a good understanding, an in-depth understanding of the character. When he learns that Juliet will not marry Paris, his anger is presented through his threatening language, as he describes how he will drag Juliet on a hurdle. The use of the word drag hints at violence and exemplifies the extent of his rage at her disobedience. In addition, so note our use of connective here, which shows that we are developing. So we've already made a comment here on the language, but now we're letting the examiner or your teacher know we're going to build upon that. We're going to say something extra about the language. So in addition, this harsh and monosyllabic word, which is devoid of fatherly affection and understanding, also acts as a reminder to his daughter of his power as the patriarch. This idea of using violence, so look at this transitional phrase. So we've seamlessly transitioned from this idea to this one. And look how we've taken something that we've established here. So we've established that there is violence here in his language. There's violence in what he's doing here, in the way that he's speaking to his daughter. So we've acknowledged that. So let's carry it on. So by using a transitional phrase, we are showing that we are carrying on an idea that we have already established. And we're also showing how there's a general theme that we have noticed that runs through this. So this idea of using violence in the place of fatherly love is further exemplified when he exclaims. So again, we've gone back to something that we've already noticed. We've gone back to this idea of fatherly affection, fatherly love. So we've got a clear link here, clearly developing on what we've already established. And just the language here, further exemplified, it shows that we are building on something and we're showing how something is delivered in more detail. He exclaims, "Hang the young baggage." This seems extreme and heartless, as similar to Lady Capulet, Lord Capulet would rather see Juliet dead than accept her disobedience. So we've done two things here. So we've made a link to something Lady Capulet says in this scene. She says that Juliet should be married to her grave, so that's something similar. So we're pulling that knowledge out to kind of link both parents together in their treatment of Juliet. And then we've got this link again, we've got disobedience, we've already mentioned it up here. So again, we're pulling the threads through. So we've got violence and we've pulled that thread through down here. Got this idea of this is all a reaction to her disobedience. We don't want to forget that that's what's caused everything. So this is our thread and we pull back to it here. Another connective here that shows that we're adding, that we're taking this further now. Furthermore, this heartless, so again, use of the key word here to show that we are building upon what we've already said. This heartless and aggressive statement is paired with an insult baggage. The use of the metaphor baggage effectively demonstrates not only the anger caused by Juliet's defiance, so we're pulling right back from our point up here to show that what we're saying is relevant. We're reinforcing what we've already stated at the beginning. And again, we're going back to what's caused everything, her disobedience, her defiance. So all of this is linked. So this is a clear thread working its way through the paragraph. So not only the anger caused by Juliet's defiance, but also his lowly view of her as he removes her status as both a person and his daughter. She is now nothing more than a burden and a disappointment.
So here are my top tips for you. Use connectives to indicate which direction your next idea or point is going to be going in. Link back to your initial point. Link back to your own keywords throughout. So if you notice there were so many different keywords that I was including and I wanted to reuse those or synonyms of them just to show that I was remaining on topic. Link to the keyword in the question, so make sure you're relevant to the question that you are answering. Make a clear transition by repeating a word or phrase from the previous idea to show that you are continuing or building upon this. This idea of building is key here because that's what you're doing. You are building your response. So I've used this down here, this image, to try and kind of show you exactly what I mean by this idea of building. So if we imagine that your ideas or your points, your sentences, they are the bricks. So imagine you're building a wall here. So everything that you're saying, everything that's key, that's a brick. Bricks are key to building a wall. But you can't just have bricks when you're building a wall. You need the mortar. And that ties everything together. It's the glue which holds all of the ideas together. So if we imagine your paragraph as a wall, we have your first brick, your first idea, and then we have your second brick, your second idea, but we need something in between. We can't just jump from one idea to the next. This is where we need our mortar, and this is what the link is. So in between idea 1 and idea 2, or sentence 1, sentence 2, have a connective or a transitional phrase where you repeat words and ideas from the previous sentence or the sentence before that. And that's how you just keep moving through your paragraph. New idea, link. New idea, link. And that's how you ensure that everything is cohesive, relevant, and clear. So I hope you've enjoyed my micro lesson on making links and transitions within an essay. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you don't miss out on any new content that's added. Thank you very much. Goodbye.